Hello and welcome to another video here at Movie Mash. And today we have a special guest, the Tommy Knocker guy over at the Tommy Knocker guy. Sorry, I said it wrong. The Tommy Knocker horror channel.
Horror
right?
guy.
Oh, horror
Tommy
guy.
Knocker, the horror guy.
It's too much of a mouthful for us English folk. You know what I mean? But yeah, the Tommy Knocker, and I'm going to put a link in the description so you can jump on over to him. And if you're watching over here, jump over to mine. This is Movie Mash. But today we're going to talk about the Evil Dead. Now we're going to rank them because obviously the new one's coming out in about a week over here anyway in the UK. What about over there? It's about the same, I reckon.
I want to say it's 420.
Hey?
It's 420 for April 20th. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah, it's real soon. Yeah. So up to that, I thought let's talk about the last four and rank them and what we think is and what I was going to say is because watching these with the last few nights, my opinion has changed surprisingly. Now, I probably could have done this review without watching them. I could have probably winged it. It's been a while.
Me too.
My opinion on them, which I would have put originally before watching it, has changed. Mm-hmm. And I'm kind of surprised. You know, maybe it's just me getting older. And it is, but I mean, what do you think? Has your opinion changed on after watching them? Still the same?
No, not really. I might have some. I would say controversial. I got some things that maybe some people might not agree with, but yeah, it's been pretty consistent since the reboot came out. But the thing is with the new one, it's going to jostle things. It's going to mix things up. That's why I'm looking forward to it.
Talk about that briefly as well, because look, I've only seen the trailer, and once this comes out, this could change where it is on the ranking for all I know. Mm-hmm. I got a feeling it's going to be a similar feel to the remake because it looks pretty. Yeah. I am looking forward to it as well. I mean, what's your opinion on it? Do you think it'll be good, bad?
I do. My only one nitpick is they could have done better on the poster.
Really?
I mean, if you saw, if you check it out when you're done with this, Google the poster.
I saw the mother, and she.
But she doesn't look that exaggerated in the movie. It looks more like the movie Smile. It looks more like.
All right, I get you. No, I see
it looks more like a Tim Burton character. Than I don't know. It just didn't look right.
I know. I get what you're saying. Smile. There is a similarity to the both. You know. Yeah.
Yeah. They could have done better with the cover, but no. I'm pumped for it. I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, I'm hoping it's going to be good. Now, I haven't watched any review on it because I know there's a couple out. But what I am hearing, the buzz about this is supposed to be pretty good. So, you know, but it's all subjective. We all don't know.
Also, I just watched it on YouTube this morning. I'm not sure where it was, but they did a screening, and Bruce Campbell was there, and this young guy was screaming, "This movie effing sucks." Got kicked out, and Bruce Campbell says, "Then get the F out."
I saw it. Was that the screening of the new one?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just some panel at Comic-Con maybe a few years ago. I saw it, and he's like,
because it was
randomly, random.
So goes, I don't know. I don't know if this kid really hated them. He must have really hated the new movie, man. So, but to act like that
and have just really random what he did, and Bruce Campbell was like, "Well, what the fuck are you here for?" Fuck off,
right? But at the same time, that lucky kid, he just had Bruce Campbell swear him out. I mean, come on, that's kind of an honor.
Yeah, I might find when you tell me it sucks as well. But yeah, I saw it. I didn't know that was the new screening. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, look, just because somebody doesn't like it doesn't mean effort was put on and just to shout that out. But look, he got his attention over it.
Isn't Bruce like executive producer on this one or something?
I don't know.
I think he's behind. I think he's behind it in some way. And Sam Raimi too, right? Yeah, right.
Oh, I'd say Sam Raimi's got something to do with it, but
I think Bruce Campbell's
a cameo, maybe, possibly. I don't know. What do you think? Will he be in it?
He was in the camp? Wasn't he? Didn't he have an end scene in the reboot?
Did he?
Was there an end scene? Yeah. Well, his voice at the end credit scene. You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, man, dude. I want to say hey, if anybody wants to comment, I mean, maybe I'm wrong. At
Right.
the end credit, the new one, I want to say there's a quick Bruce Campbell scene.
Right. Well, there you go. You know, you watch this
Yeah.
video and you find out something new. This is an educational video too, then.
Yep.
So, but now, so there's four, as we all know, there's four Evil Dead movies, and we're going to rank them on what we think each. So, without further ado, what is your number four and why?
Okay, so my number four is actually the reboot, and that does. Here's the thing with this. This is a different kind of ranking. Now, like this is a. There's not really a weak link in the bunch. At least for
Just
me.
because it's four doesn't mean it's shit. It's just,
Exactly.
yeah,
That's why it's hard. This movie
yeah.
is this
It's not,
franchise knows how to do it, and that's
yeah.
why even the number fourth pick is magnificent.
On
But
this,
for me,
all of it good. Yeah,
it's the
agree.
reboot. It's the reboot, and this is my only thing on it. And this is why I think maybe it's not popular to say this, but this is just my opinion. More to the original, I get it, but this didn't really feel like it had to be an Evil Dead movie in the franchise. Not
Yeah,
really. It could have been a separate. It could have had it
I,
been a separate movie, and it would have felt the same.
I get what you mean.
It,
Yeah,
it
no, you're
didn't.
right.
I mean, it didn't like completely feel like an Evil Dead movie.
It
Completely to
didn't.
me.
No, you recognize the layout and the house and maybe what's going on to a sense, but it just didn't feel like it could. You're right. It could have been a different type movie because it feels like the new one that's coming. It feels like it's not part of it at all, but it is a big reboot, and it's been a long time since the third one. But yeah, I mean, what would you say you liked about it?
Oh, the gruesomeness. It's just it really it's one of those movies that like
Wow,
gets you to the core. The some of the shit they do.
wow.
Mad props to the movie. Good cast. I mean, the main girl. I can't think of her name. That cute little redhead. She was great in it. My theory. It's not a reboot. It's not a reboot because I mean you still get the car. I still say it's in the original timeline. I don't think it's a reboot.
Okay, a remake, reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I think
all
it's in the same timeline.
well, I must say that. Well, I will say about part four is that it was gory as fuck. It's one of the most goriest things I probably. There's some scenes. Do you remember when that girl was cutting into her mouth and
Yeah,
stuff? Oh my god!
I could feel it.
They sat down and they thought, what is the most horriblest thing we could think
Yes,
of that humans? It's not being shot in the head. It's stuff like that, and you're like, oh my god. So apart from the gore, apart from all that, so I might as well just come in and tell you that my number four is the reboot as well.
oh, okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
all right.
yeah, I might as well talk about it too. What I was going to say is, apart from the gore, which is hardcore. I mean, they don't hold back at all. They didn't try to go for a PG-13 or anything like that. They knew. But what I liked was that, and this I know it doesn't mean nothing to no one. You know that they were going there because one of them was in the girl was into drugs. She was a junkie,
Yes,
and they're bringing there. It wasn't just for a camp out because look, you know, it's a
that's
little thing, but and it made
it's
sense, and it didn't. They all thought she was losing her mind because she was like coming
right,
down.
right.
And, all right, no, that works for me. I thought the cast was really good. I actually, and I don't know many people who didn't write. And this is how I know you're saying it's not a reboot, but this is how, if you're going to reboot or carry on or do something, this is how you do it. This is exactly how you
No,
do it.
I mean I'm not dead sad that it's not a reboot. I'm just saying it could be a theory. Like, is it really? Is it in the timeline? But you're right. It's
Well,
the
you know
reason
the
why.
opening scene where the girl, you feel sorry for her, like what you know those people
Yep.
are in the house, that young girl, she's crying. You know something is wrong, but you're beginning to like feel sorry
Mm-hmm.
for her, and then they set her on fire, which is grisly as fuck.
It
And then
is.
she starts turning. You're like, from the opening credit, you're like, what am I watching? Oh my god, this is
Yeah.
hardcore.
I
So
agree.
yeah, I will say that I'm definitely going to recommend to anyone who wants to, who ain't seen this. If you're watching this, shame on you. But I was going to say is definitely worth a watch. Now, getting on to your third. What is your number 3?
Okay, so my number 3 is Evil Dead 2.
Ooh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, I know. Because what can I say? Evil Dead 2 is kind of like the birth of the real Ash that I think, in a way. I mean, Ash in the first one was great, but the Ash that we all kind of fell in love with was the wacky, when we get an Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
Depends on what you like, I guess. What your version of Ash you like, um, I happen to like some other ones a little bit better, but Evil Dead 2, fond memories, the deer, the deer, that's my childhood memories. That deer head coming to life, that was creepy.
Oh, yeah.
The pale eyes,
Yeah. Yeah.
But Evil Dead 2 is just it's a perfect movie, really. But
again,
not my
just
favorite.
because it's number 3 doesn't mean it's shit. It's just
not with this franchise. Not with this franchise. No.
Not with this. I agree completely. No, well, I'm gonna have to differ with you on this, and my number 3 is Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
All right, this nearly came in at number 2 because I was watching them. It's all changed. This nearly came in at number 2, but I have to say that after watching it, not long before we started this video, sometimes it's the comedy elements, and again, this is not knocking it. The comedy elements can go on a little bit too long, and it's a little bit dated. In fact, you could nearly put this on a Nickelodeon channel if you took out some of the monsters. It's virtually. I've seen kids' comedy. Look, I know I'm sacrilege by saying stuff like that, and I don't mean it. I'm just saying is as much as it is funny, there's some parts of like, all right, come on, let's get it. There is no horror in this. In fact, I was watching it earlier on, and there was literally no blood in it either. There was literally no.
The witch, the thing in the bottom of the tunnel there, the blood squirt. Come on, man.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, all right, I was going to say there was that, but then I was waiting for no, because even when everything, there was literally no blood, and obviously at the end there was a bit of a Sinbad moment, with the stop motion skeletons, and he's hitting. There's no blood there, and there's a few marks on him and stuff, but it's only if you took out the blood and the couple of the prosthetics, which you probably could make this a 12. I mean, what is it? I could be for all I know, but again, regardless,
it's PG-13.
Nostalgic, yes, it's great. I will say this is definitely still a classic. It's funny as hell. It feels like it does kind of feel like the Evil Dead, I suppose, because we've been so used to it. But I will say this is my number 3, and it's still a classic. If you ain't seen it, go and see it. Now, let's jump into what is your number 2.
Well, you're pretty good at math, so if I say this movie, there's only one left. It's my number 1, but my number 2 is the original.
Okay.
Yeah. What can I say? We have different opinions. Yep. The OG. No, yeah.
All subjective. You're wrong and I'm right, but it's all subjective. No,
I know. Hey, that's why you had me on. I'm different. So
tell me about it.
My question is, what made, I think I know the reason, but why did Sam Raimi change the direction to go from a serious horror movie to zany and wacky?
So this is what I researched. So the reason why it's kind of like a remake of the one he already. I mean, you're going to see a sequel, and it's virtually the same kind of thing. But he had no rights to the first, whatever he made. He wrote it, directed, and all that. But he had no rights to that movie at all. He wasn't allowed any rights to it. Okay. So he was like, "All right, well, you know what? I'm going to remake that, and I'm going to do my own spin on it." I think they wanted to bring the R rating down a little bit, just for to different audience, but keep the horror part on it. But most people just remembered the comedic part of it, so that's why I think Army of the Darkness is just full on comedic, But I know he had no rights to the first one, so this is why, and he wanted to just bring the tone down a little bit. But it still doesn't make sense changing the tone to make it full on comedic. Because I have to say, you know, the bit where he's laughing and they're all bouncing up and down together and all that, that's pretty funny, I have to say. But yeah,
But,
I mean,
but
that's the only reason I know.
it's just, but you know what though? It's one of the smartest decisions of his career. I think.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, sure, it could have been another successful horror franchise, but to go in that direction and have the fan base it has, and it actually went to the direction of the original because it went from zany, wacky. Now it's back to serious again.
Yeah. Well,
You know?
I'm gonna say that again. It is an absolute classic. It's a great movie, and
It is.
I'm gonna bring that up in a second with what I've got to say. But it's just because my number three. Sorry, did I say three? Oh, my maths is gone out the window. Right, so my number two
Yeah,
is
too.
the original.
Whoa. Okay. So all right. So all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, this is the thing. It nearly was Army of Darkness. This nearly jumped to three. And remember, I was saying it changed. This was my number one favorite. But watching over the last few nights, it's changed. I don't know why. All right, so
Happens.
look, with the original, and again, it is creepy as hell. Like when they pull out the cards, you know, when they're doing the card reading, and she turns, and that little tree rape scene, which I don't know
Yeah,
how it why that, but yeah,
you know,
um, there was
you know what got me?
this
The pencil scene.
when she stabbed her in the ankle. Was
Oh
it?
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah. As I say, like, I mean, look, I thought this would be number one, and it it nearly went to number three. It's just as I was watching it, part three, Army of Darkness, I was like, it's a bit too silly for me to do that. But this was creepy as hell. Now, the reason why it's dropped, and it's the pacing. So for the first half an hour
yeah.
of this movie, maybe it's because I've seen it so much and I was like, but for the first half an hour, maybe even a little bit longer, there's a lot of walking around downstairs. Now, this cabin looks like it should be huge by how long they're walking around in it. But as it goes on, see little Hills of Eyes, little kind of nod in the background poster.
Oh
As I
yeah.
say,
Yep.
I felt like that bogged it down a little bit. That the film could probably been about an hour long. I just felt like that bogged it down a little bit. I liked it when they found that Necronomicon, Comic Con,
I could never pronounce that either.
Necronomicon. Yeah, comment below if we're doing this wrong and give us a slap. What I was going to say is, but turning that on and all that bit was creepy. You know, it's very tropey, but it is 1981. I think this came out. Is it 1981 or 82? So it has all the tropes that you would expect, especially for back then. It probably invented a few. But again, the walking around down the cellar, walking around the house, all that, I felt like, I know you're trying to build up to something, which is great, but I felt like you overdid it. Maybe some of it's filler. But now, just because I said all that doesn't mean it ain't, because it's still number two and it nearly was number one. But as I said, the only reason that I have to put it down as number two, it nearly was number one. You know, it nearly was number three earlier on. So, I mean, look, sorry about that. Now, go to number one. What is your number one? Because if nobody knew, what was it?
Army of Darkness. I get what you just said. I can't argue that, except for the Nickelodeon thing. That's going a little bit too far.
All right, man.
Nickelodeon, come on, man. MTV maybe. No,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I like zingy, wacky. I love medieval. I love Clash of the Titans. I love Jason and the Argonauts. I love the stop motion silliness. I know it's such a stray change of pace and plot, and just you're like, what the fuck is going on? But I'm sorry, what is going on? I love it. I don't know what it is. Army of Darkness.
Well, I know that, as I say, like, just because it was my number three doesn't mean it wasn't good. And I was researching this. I'm always checking up research, and when I'm watching even films that I'm not even enjoying, I always check something out. And apparently, this originally was was going to be another retelling of the first two. For the first half of the movie was going to be back in the cabin, retelling the same story again, and then they were going to jump to medieval halfway through, but they ended up changing their mind. But yeah, I was like, you know what, that would have been that would have been the third time you're doing this, no, which is a bad idea. And it was supposed to be more on tone with the Evil Dead 2, like with the horror and stuff, but they just went, I don't know, is it by accident or just a choice, I don't know, but yeah, they went with the slapstick. But again, it's a classic, it's a great movie. I love it.
Yeah, because Army of Darkness was 92, I believe, and
Yeah,
an Evil Dead 2, Evil Dead 2 was 88.
87 or 88, yeah.
And I remember being a kid, because at the end of Evil Dead 2, he's in medieval times, and I remember me and my cousins were watching it, and we were like so excited and confused.
Yeah.
But it took like sometimes horror movies like that was like the next year or the following year, or 2 years, because there's like bang bang bang. Sometimes they come out. I was waiting forever for this. Like, is he going to be medieval times, or they're just going to forget about it altogether? What are they going to do?
Yeah.
And I was excited they went with this. I don't know.
Get it in 92 because apparently, no, I'm going to 2 again. So part 2, no, was it part 2? I got confused. Yeah, part 2 was shelved for a year after being filmed. So that could have been out a year before. And apparently because of that, that's why there was such a big break in between or something to do with that. But apparently the companies and all that shelved it for a while and they just couldn't get it out. And Bruce Campbell was getting frustrated with it. But for anyone who's watching and you didn't realize, my number 1 is Evil Dead 2, which we're talking about anyway. Which thing with Evil Dead 2, and I thought would come in as number 2. But after watching it last night, this still has that creepy element to it. Like, it really has some real creepy to it, you know? There is some real goofy bits with the Barbie doll girlfriend outside and all like that. And where's Baba Joe? And I was like,
yeah, I love it. No, you're right, though. But yeah, being a young kid, there's scary parts in this movie. It's not just
there is the creepy. Yeah, it's still
absolutely
got creepy elements on it, you know.
Absolutely.
I think towards the end it gets a bit more slapstick, but you know the first part of it is pretty good.
Yeah.
I want to know that thing around the girl's neck. You know, the one he bought in the first one and the second one. It looks kind of cheap, to be honest with you. It looks like I mean, look, I've been with girlfriends, and if I'd gotten one of them, I'd probably been broken up a lot quicker than we did now. The thing is that, you know, it's like a magnifying glass, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, so we see it in the second one, and I'm like, oh god, it's virtually retelling the same story. But you know what? Nobody cares because everyone loves the first, second, third equally. Nobody moans about. I mean, actually, don't think I've ever heard anyone moaning about them retelling the first one again the way, because he changed it up with the slapstick. But it's gory as hell. It is gory as hell, and it's got all the tropes. You can see that the production value, and there was more. You can see there's more money.
Yeah. Yep.
I wouldn't say a hell of a lot, but you can see there's money.
Respect.
The thing about all of them. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the thing about all of them I noticed is that they all put a lot of time, care, and love into these movies. These aren't just. This is like they really put everything into these. I mean, some of it might not have worked, but you know, with the comedy part, you could nearly look at it as like, you know, the doll where Bruce Campbell's looking out and his girlfriend's head spinning around, and she's like, it looks like a Barbie doll that they melted a little bit. You could say that looks stupid, but then you could say, no, that's what he wanted to do. So that's where it was kind of clever. It's great. I wanted to ask you something, since Army of Darkness is your favorite. Which ending is your favorite?
Which ending? Oh, shoot. Okay, so I'm trying to remember now. The Bridget Fonda ending where he's in the store?
There's a Bridget Fonda, yeah, when he goes back and he's talking, is it Kmart or something, and he's talking away, and he ends up on a skateboard shooting because one pops out of nowhere and he starts shooting that. Then you've got the other one where he sleeps too long, you know, where he took too much, do you know? But like everyone I've seen, people have their favorites. To be honest with you, liked both because one, he slept too long, which is quite funny because he's taking these drops and he hears something and he forgets how many he's taken and oh shit, he slept too long. But what I liked about the Kmart one is he's in Kmart working as like an employee, um, boasting about how tough he is, and he's just a normal working where he could have stayed in the medieval days and be a king. You know, he could have been
Yeah,
a king, but now he's just working in Walmart, but a cheesy hero. But as I said, they're both really good. I love both of them.
yeah,
I
I
don't
like
have.
to. Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
there was four endings, so I had to research that as
Oh,
well
I don't
because, like,
know.
no,
Jeez.
there isn't. It's just fans wishing there was like some vault
Oh,
hidden away somewhere that Sam Raimi's like, yeah, I put two in here that nobody will ever see. No,
in
like, but
Evil Dead 2. Sorry, in Evil Dead 2, did you see what was hanging in the shed as an Easter egg? Oh, a little trivia here.
okay, remind
So
me.
so the woodshed, you know where he's in, where he's cutting off his hand and all that
Yeah,
stuff's
yeah,
going
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Freddy Krueger's glove is hanging on
Is
the
it
wall. Because
really?
Sam Raimi and Wes Craven's relationship. Each movie they would go back and forth, have a little Easter egg to each other.
That's why he had the Hills of Eyes in the background, the poster. I
There you
didn't know,
go.
but I didn't catch
Yeah,
that. I've never. It's the
yeah,
first time since 1987 or
yeah.
eight.
I
I
know. That's why
didn't
I
know.
love that shit. Yeah, I didn't see that as a kid. I didn't even notice that as a kid, not until I was adult and the internet.
No, I never knew. Wow,
Yeah,
that's pretty
yep,
cool. Yeah, I mean, but again, look, bottom line is, doesn't matter. It's all subjective, and this is just our Pacific preferences. Now,
exactly.
they were all four classic, and as I said, a younger version of me would have ranked these differently. And until a few nights
Probably.
ago, I ranked these differently.
Yep.
And three nearly became two, and two
Hmm.
and one nearly became three when originally it was one. So it's all over the place. They're all great. I still think the remake or the reboot or remake is still really, really worth watching. It's one of
Oh,
those remakes
definitely.
that came out and it was really good. Now, all right, just out of interest, this new Evil Dead Rises. Where do
Hmm.
you think this fits into that? Is it a sequel? Is it just something else? Is it what do you think this will be? Is it a sequel or is it sequel to the last one? Is it just a new version of it all or what?
I think it's gonna. I think it's good. I think it's honestly gonna be a mix of all of it. I think it's gonna be mostly serious like the reboot, but you're gonna
Yeah,
see little nuggets of the others, but more serious this one. I think more of a continuation of the reboot. I don't know. It's
yeah,
gonna. Be, I don't think it's. I don't think it's connected plot wise, but just that feel. I guess what I'm saying is that feel.
yeah. No, I mean,
I,
all I know is I'm looking forward to it, and it's been a while since I've looked forward to a horror movie because it's been a while. Yeah, I mean, I am looking forward to this more than a lot. So yeah, I hope it. Now there is one more thing that I wanted to point out before I stop us all talking. But what I was going to say is, do you know? I never realized, and I was going to ask you this. So I always thought this was just an evil forest, and
yeah.
he read the book and he opened up what was evil in the forest.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
now beginning to wonder is it didn't matter where it was when he read when the words were spoken from the Necronomicon. Yeah,
That's.
Jesus.
I
Yeah,
know. The
blah, blah, blah,
book.
the book.
The evil
Yeah,
book. The evil book.
the Necrocon. Um I think if he was in a building anywhere, doesn't matter if he was in a desert, that's what would have happened. Am I correct in that?
That's
Or
the
not?
impression. That's the impression I always got. Like no matter where
I
you
know
were,
it was an evil forest, and he just happened to say these
I don't
words and
know.
woke it up.
That that's. I'm not mad at that theory. I kind of dig it. I mean, I don't know.
No, I
I
know,
like
but
it.
watching it, I was like, hold on, no, because he was talking about because they were all over the place research, and then I think it's the second one. They went to I don't know some country and they found the book with the dagger. I was like,
Oh,
right, and then they brought it to this cabin because he was. You see the second
where
one?
is it? We're not like filming location. Do you know both? Like filming location, where was it, and where in the movie is it supposed to
I
take
know
place?
the third one was in. I think the third one was in California somewhere.
Okay.
The army, but I don't know the filming locations. For a while there, the reason why I checked that was because I actually, for a while there, I thought it might even been made over here in the UK because there were so many Brits on it, on the Army of Darkness. I thought it could be.
There was.
Bruce Campbell seemed to be the only one with an American accent, but they were trying to go medieval, you know.
Yeah.
But
I think about it, you're right.
was
Yeah.
to say, the second one, when they so they went to another country. The old guy and his daughter and the old woman, they found the book and the dagger, and I think he brought it back to this place so he'd be nice and recluse from everyone to open this. And I was like, oh, so it didn't matter really where it just happened to be in the forest where it kicked off, you know. I always thought it was just an evil forest because it looked evil from the start, you know. But
Oh,
you know,
I don't know.
I mean, like, you know, in the first one when they're driving up and all the car goes off, and I'm like, ooh, this forest is evil. But no, it wasn't. It was just bad driving. That's what I think. Anyway. But I was gonna say is, look, I want to know what you guys who are watching this think. What is your thought? Which way would you rank them? Do you agree with us? Do you not agree with us? Let us know in the comments below, and like and subscribe as normal. And if you haven't, what are you waiting for? And also, if you're watching on my channel, jump on over to the Tommy Knocker Horror Guy. Got it right this time. And I'll put a link in the description below so you can check out his. Now,
there you go.
he has he's a great channel. He's got loads of horror stuff. It's mostly horror, and if you're into horror, it's going to be a treat. He talks about all kinds of different things, not just reviews, what he thinks, all kinds of controversial stuff. Great channel, worth checking out. I highly recommend it. And if you're watching on his channel, make sure you check mine out because I'm really good looking. I'm worth looking at. All right, that's it.
He says it a lot about himself. It's very yes.
Well, no one else fucking saying it, so I don't really. There's a reason. But anyway, look, thanks for watching, everyone.
It's been
Check
pleasure,
it out.
man.
As I said, put what you think in below. And if you want to see more ranking like this, keep a watch out because we're going to be doing something else soon. We were talking about something earlier on. We're actually talking about doing a ranking of the Friday the 13th, which I am really behind on. But this guy here, he's the master. He's virtually directed them. Yeah, that's how much he knows about this, right?
I'll rewatch him again just for you, though. I'll rewatch him again just for you.
Thing when I rewatch something, I really study it. I don't just watch. I really study it like hard, and I overwatch it, you know. But yeah, I mean, you say there's 12 of them, right?
Yeah. So here's a piece of advice. If you want to start for the videos from the bottom, which you usually do with rankings, watch the bottom 3 or 4 movies. Start with the bottom first before you watch the first ones.
It's great doing a video with you. I'm really glad you joined us, join me, and we'll do another one soon. Friday the 13th ranking. Maybe in about 2 weeks. Check it out.
Absolutely.
All right. Subscribe.
All right, guys.